It's the time of year where your lease is about to be up and you're really thinking it's time to take that plunge into homeownership. But there's a slight snag: mortgage rates. They're higher than you like, and quite honestly, higher than you've ever remembered. And now you're wrestling with the dilemma: should you buy now or wait for mortgage rates to drop? Mortgage rates are a common quandary that many buyers are dealing with right now. Even though mortgage rates today are still historically lower than the 50-year average, they're still much higher than most of us can remember ever seeing in our adult lives. So let's take a beat and break down how mortgage rates affect your home purchase and what you should do about it. First things first, it is essential to understand the relationship between buyer demand and interest rates. They're very closely connected. In general, higher mortgage rates tend to drop buyer demand. That's because higher rates mean higher monthly payments. So some prospective movers might choose to wait, hoping for more favorable conditions, while others might just be plain priced out. However, flip that scenario. When rates start to drop, buyer demand surges upward. Those who were waiting leap off the sidelines, eager to capitalize on those lower rates, which ultimately leads to a more competitive market. And this illustrates the typical push and pull between buyer demand and interest rates. Lisa Sturdivant, a chief economist, recently noted the higher rates we're seeing now are likely going to lead more prospective buyers to sit out the market and wait for rates to come down. If you're considering whether or not to make your move now or later, consider this. While mortgage rates are high now, they are expected to begin decreasing by the end of this year. This potential drop could trigger a rush in the market, increasing buyer competition significantly. More people looking means more offers on the table for a house you might want, possibly sparking multiple offers, bidding wars, and thus increasing prices. Take a look at this graph. It illustrates buyer demand as related to interest rates. The higher the mortgage rate, the weaker the buyer demand. Should rates drop, buyer demand will rise. In Florida, where real estate markets can vary from city to city, this expected drop in rates could dramatically intensify home prices, which will only be exponentially magnified in bigger cities like Orlando, Miami, or Tampa. But what about Gainesville? Could smaller markets react differently? Lower interest rates might not create as dramatic of an increase like you might see in a city like Miami, but they will undoubtedly bring more competition to the market. It's just the way it works. So should you jump in before rates start to drop? If you're ready and able to buy right now, it may be wise to consider making your purchase sooner rather than waiting for this anticipated drop in rates, which will only lead to a surge in competition. By moving ahead of the curve, you could avoid the rush of buyers re-entering the market, thereby sidestepping heightened competition and potentially higher home prices that will come with multiple bids. Let's not forget another scenario. What if rates don't drop as much or as soon as currently projected? Delaying your move could mean missing out on current opportunities in hopes of predictions that are not guaranteed. Bottom line, if moving is on your radar and you can financially handle today's rates and costs, it's probably going to be better to leap now than later. Because waiting out for potentially lower mortgage rates could push you into a more competitive and higher priced market. Understanding your financial comfort with today's mortgage rates and market trends is critical. Making a move in real estate is never completely without risk, but being informed can help you mitigate that risk and make the best decision for your situation. So let's discuss your next steps and find the best path forward in your home buying or home selling journey. Because home ownership and real estate is a journey. I know very few people who bought their last house first. And in fact, journeying into buying something you can just afford right now could be the ultimate stepping stone to your dream home. I'm Lindsey Johnson, your resource for all things real estate. See you next time.